Hello and welcome. You're watching The Social Network on NDTV 24/7. I'm Kajari Sen, and today all of social media in India is talking about just one thing. If I quickly read off what's happening on Twitter right now, there are 5 top trends. The legend bows out, salute the legend, Sachin retires, India versus Australia, BCCI and Sharjah. And the reason for that is, of course, Sachin Tendulkar announcing his retirement, the end of an era for so many of us. That's what we're going to be discussing here on the social network. But before we introduce our guest, joining us to talk about Sachin Tendulkar's legacy, we asked you, our viewers, to send us video blogs, and you sent in your greatest memories, what you feel Sachin's legacy is like, what cricket will be like without Sachin, and many other opinions. Let's first take a look at those, and then we'll start talking.
My favorite Sachin Tendulkar moment is the double century which he hit versus Australia in Sydney in 2004. During that tour, Sachin Tendulkar was under a lot of pressure because he was not able to perform well. But during that innings in Sydney Test, he changed his game completely and played most of his shots down the ground and handled the Australians bowling pretty well.
सचिन ने बहुत सही टाइम पे संन्यास लिया है और उनको बहुत अच्छा किया, नए खिलाड़ी को मौका दिया उन्होंने। आज वो संन्यास ले रहे हैं, हमको बहुत दुख हो रहा है। हमारे इतने अच्छे प्लेयर थे कि 100 टेस्ट खेला है उन्होंने, और आज वो रिटायर ले रहे हैं, हमको बहुत तकलीफ हो रही है।
And our guests with us right now, Editor-in-Chief of Outlook, Krishna Prasad, and also joining me right here in the studio, Gaurav Sethi of the board, Cricket Crazy Indians. Let me start with you, Krishna. And, when we talk about the legacy of Sachin Tendulkar, now the time has come to talk about the legacy, given that he has announced his retirement. What do you think it is?
No, I think Sachin's legacy is quite clear. I mean, he's had a long, wonderful run. It's been 24 years, going on to 25. So I think the legacy is quite clear in the sense that he opens up a huge gaping hole in the Indian middle order. It's one thing to say that there are a set of very competent batsmen around to replace him, but I think the key legacy would be filling up that big hole in the middle order, one, and secondly, getting the kind of statesman-like figure who, despite the adulation, had the humility to survive through this millennial age with such decency and civility. I think you're going to find that increasingly difficult as you go along. But anyway, the legacy is going to be both cricketing and non-cricketing. The cricketing one is a very clear one. The non-cricketing one, which is getting the kind of player with a stable mind, with a solidity of technique, and with a kind of civility and decency and humility, I think that's going to be very, very difficult for Indian cricket here from here on.
An important point there, Sachin Tendulkar, the person as well as the legend. They're really setting an example for Indians and cricketers everywhere. Gaurav, there were a lot of people saying that the time had come for Sachin to retire. In fact, they've been saying it for about a year and a half now. But when it actually happened, what we saw was an overwhelming outpouring of emotion, and positive emotion at that, saying that Sachin will be deeply missed.
Sure, I wouldn't agree there when you say that, the retirement came now and we are reacting, because people have been reacting for about 10 years. It started when he had a slump and headlines such as Tendulkar were seen for the first time. So it has been a very critical last 10 years for Tendulkar. So he has had to repeatedly score runs. There is an emotional bond which he shares with all of us. So we tend to be, two-faced when it comes to Sachin. Even the harshest critic will say, there's something that does happen, he pulls at your heartstrings, so to say. But at the same time, everyone who watches cricket and says they know cricket would say, well, is it a little late? Was it 2 years late? Should he have retired after the World Cup? I mean, these are things which you don't want to address today because it just seems so wrong. But if you were to look at it purely from a cricketing point of view, from the tournament that just got over, which was the Champions League T20, and it was very rough going for both Dravid and Sachin.
Certainly.
And that is not something you want to do in the finals. And that was my birthday, so I had people over. I wasn't watching too much, I was entertaining. I saw two dismissals. I saw Dravid get clean bowled, and I saw Sachin get out. And I said, I'm done with it. I don't want to watch more. It's very emotionally draining to have had such a strong bond with a cricketer for so many years and to watch the slump. Now, everyone will go and watch cricket again. Test cricket will be hot for 2 test matches in India again.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think people who've possibly not watched test cricket for years are going to get back to it, at least for the next 2 matches. But Krishna, you know, an important point which has been made there by Gaurav, which is the emotional attachment to Sachin Tendulkar. Sachin Tendulkar, in a sense, defined cricket for India. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I think he defines cricket for the modern Indian. I think we shouldn't forget 2 things. When Sachin made his debut, it was 1989, which means it's really 25 years. And when you look at this fact about India, that more than 60% of India is less than 25 years of age, what it really means is that for 60% of Indians, it's really Sachin Tendulkar who's the iconic figure when it comes to cricket. So that emotional connect is there to start with. A. B. He's also a post-liberalization kid. Let's not forget that his real boom starts about 91, 92. So this whole generation has seen him post-liberalization only through the eyes of Sachin Tendulkar. Thirdly, despite the riches of Indian cricket, let's not forget that Indian cricket was not very rich long time back. It's only post-95, 96 that the monies have come in. And to find that Sachin Tendulkar has been the common strand from 1989, 1992 and 1996, the 3 inflection points during India's cricketing history, modern cricket history, it tells you that here is a kind of stable factor which has been through and through. So that emotional connect clearly comes through. But most importantly, I think he comes through because here is a character who has excelled on virtually every single cricketing continent of this world. Right. He's excelled in every single cricketing country. So I think that emotional connect is not just national but international for a whole horde of people outside of India. The only cricketing connection largely from 1990 has been Sachin Tendulkar. So the emotional connect comes from there.
So an emotional connect pretty much across the world there. Gaurav, one of the questions we asked our followers on Twitter today, and I'm going to put that to both you and Krishna. First, your favorite memory of Sachin Tendulkar.
Okay, that would be my first memory of Sachin on TV. I remember it very strongly because that was possibly the only time me and my elder brother watched cricket together. He doesn't follow the game, and good for him, he's in the US now, so he has to follow it even less. I don't know why, but we were watching that game together. My mom was unwell, and I remember running to her after every 6 that he hit Qadir for. She was in the other room. I said, listen, you got to see this kid. He just smashed Qadir. So, I mean, I don't know even if she knew about Sachin, but it was, you know, it's the thrill of something new. For me, that was, it was the thrill of, you know, remarkable romance that happened right there at that moment. And, you know, when you feel that it was cricket love at first sight, that was it, because it endured. Sure. And you know, you bet yourself that you were right all along about Sachin there. And it was all about smashing Qadir, you know, straight down. And, you know, that's like a recurring thing. It's not about
an image
Shane
that
Warne.
stays
It
with
was
you.
there. It was
Absolutely.
Right there. Yeah.
Krishna, your sort of lasting memory of Sachin Tendulkar.
You know, I think it's very easy to talk about Sachin Tendulkar, the batsman. I think it's very obvious the beauty with which he batted, the elegance, the grace, and so on. But for me, the real cricket memory of Sachin, and I have seen him since he was 16 years old, it's the fact that he was a cricketer who was not just a batsman, but also a very, very fine bowler. You know, one of my fine memories of Sachin is as a bowler, bowling at Eden Gardens, bowling in England, and bowling in several other grounds. 1. 2, the equally great memory I have of Sachin, and that goes even to as recently as last Sunday at the Champions League trophy, is the effervescence, the enthusiasm and the eagerness he brought to the game even 4 days before he announced his retirement. On Sunday, you could still see him around, prancing around in the stadium, you know, in the ground, you know, helping his captain, helping his bowler, helping his fielders. So I think beyond the batting, the kind of bowling he brought and the bowling skills he brought, and more importantly, the kind of enthusiasm he brought is the lasting memory and the ambition he brought to the crease.
And I think that right there is an image, thanks to your description, Krishna, that's going to stay with us as well. Joining us on the phone line right now, Editor Wisdom India, Dilip Premchandra. And Dilip, we've been talking here about Sachin Tendulkar and Sachin Tendulkar's legacy. You wrote in an article a few months ago about words of Ayrton Senna which applied to Sachin Tendulkar. Today, those words still apply, possibly even more so.
Yeah, I think it's all about the love of the game. I don't think you last 24 years without that. I mean, there have been equally great players, who've played 10 years, 15 years, even 20 years, but to last as long as Sachin has, to deliver that level of performance consistently year after year, season after season, that's a true legacy. I mean, that love of the game, which he first developed as a teenager and never let go of. And I think that's the biggest lesson for any young cricketer as well.
Right. Thank you so much, Dilip, for joining us with your comments. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you, Gaurav, for speaking with us about your memories of Sachin Tendulkar and your analysis of what Sachin Tendulkar meant to cricket and to India. We're going to slip into a short break. We'll be right back on the other side. Welcome back. You're watching the Social Network, and joining us now, Tejas Mehta and Miloni Bhatt from Mumbai, where, of course, the emotions are running highest. Tejas, what are people saying?
Well, actually, I mean, there's a sense of expectation which was already there, given the fact that he had retired from T20 and from one-day cricket. In fact, I'm outside Sachin's house itself, and he has still, of course, talked to the media. But his fans, some of them have, assembled outside his house. They're waiting for the last 2 to 3 hours. In fact, tell me, you were saying you're quite shocked that he has retired. Yeah. But why so? He retired from T20, from one-day cricket. He has played for 25 years. This was only expected in a sense.
So there is always चलेगा सब लोगों को रिटायर लेना पड़ता है आफ्टर स्पोर्ट्समैन की तो जल्दी रिटायर होना पड़ता है when we heard about the retirement at afternoon we get shocked and we are eagerly waiting for come in front of Sachin and to see Sachin and contact between the Sachins.
Yeah, the emotional bond is really there, but do you think that in your opinion, what does he leave for Indian cricket today? The message he leaves behind for young cricketers, those are looking up to him, for youngsters in India. What do you really emulate in him? The spirit. What do you really learn from him?
नहीं, मुझे तो लगता है कि सचिन से बहुत कुछ सीखने लायक है. जैसे कि हम उनसे पंक्चुअलिटी सीख सकते हैं, उनका डिसिप्लिन सीख सकते हैं, उनका जो क्लास था क्रिकेट में खेलने का वो कोई नहीं कॉपी कर सकता, सिर्फ उनको फॉलो कर सकते हैं. हम तो यही कह सकते हैं. What about you?
He is like Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Similar to that, he has given an essence of cricket for his fans. I would like to only say that कि सचिन आज तो तारीख है 10. हमारी दुआ है कि आप खेलते रहे बस.
Well, that of course is no longer going to happen. Sachin Tendulkar has retired. Of course, as we said, he is still inside. He has not come out, but of course, they did send out to the waiting media a cup of hot tea. We are hoping that he'll come out sooner than later and speak to the media and of course all his fans here. Kajori?
Right. Thank you, Tejas. Miloni, similar sentiments coming from the people you've been talking to?
Well, yes, we are here at the Oval Maidan. We've spoken to a whole host of kids and we've got some of them here. There's young Swayam who came for a cricket selection club level and we believe he's been selected. So what are your memories of Sachin Tendulkar? Was it the right time for him to retire? What do you think?
या उनका ये राइट टाइम है क्योंकि वो काफी खेल चुके हैं और उन्होंने जो भी किया है ये इंडिया के लिए काफी यादगार रहेगा. और ये आज रिस्पेक्ट के साथ रिटायर्ड हो रहे हैं, उससे बड़ी बात नहीं हो सकती. आज हम लोग उनको सैल्यूट करते हैं क्योंकि उन्होंने काफी योगदान दिया अपना टीम के लिए, देश के लिए, और ये मेमोरीज हमेशा हमारे दिल में रहेगी.
क्या मेमोरीज है सचिन की? एक बताइए जल्दी.
सचिन तेंदुलकर जब भी पिच पे आते हैं तो हम एक नए जोश के साथ ऐसा हर एक बॉल को इतना उत्साह से देखते हैं कि वो बॉल उनको कभी आउट ना कर पाए. और सचिन हमेशा खेलते रहे. जब सचिन आउट होते हैं तो हमारा दिल टूट जाता है, पूरा इंडिया टीवी के सामने से उठ जाता है. एक सबसे बड़ी मेमोरी है. इतना प्यार शायद किसी प्लेयर को मिला नहीं होगा, ना ही मिलेगा कि एक प्लेयर के लिए लोग टीवी के सामने आए और एक प्लेयर के लिए टीवी के दूर जाए.
स्वयं यू प्ले क्रिकेट, आपका सबसे फेवरेट शॉट कौन सा है सचिन का?
कवर ड्राइव और स्ट्रेट ड्राइव.
चलो बताओ कैसे करते हैं कवर ड्राइव. हाउ डज सचिन तेंदुलकर डू अ कवर ड्राइव? लेट्स सी इट. ऑलराइट, ही इज टेकन हिज पोजीशन. All right. Well, see, you can see young Swayam, and there are hundreds of kids like him who stand in front of the mirror and they copy Sachin Tendulkar's shots. Sir, one quick last memory. आपकी क्या है?
मेरी मेमोरी ये है कि एक किसी के साथ कौन से कंट्री के साथ मैच था वो मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा है, लेकिन सचिन एक साइड से बैटिंग कर रहे थे और हमारे सारे प्लेयर मतलब एक साइड से ऐसे आउट होते जा रहे थे और वो टाइम पे ऐसा साइक्लोन आया था, उसमें मतलब बहुत सारा तूफान था और वो टाइम पे सचिन ने 100 किया था, लेकिन अनलकीली हमारा इंडिया वो टाइम पे हार गया था। लेकिन वो टाइम सचिन ने जो बैटिंग किया था वो मुझे आज तक मतलब सबसे ज्यादा पसंद है।
Well, people have lots of memories about Sachin Tendulkar. He is a legend, master blaster, the Bombay Bomber, they called him, and they will remember and cherish his contribution to Indian cricket. That's the message from all his fans here.
Thank you so much, Tejas and Miloni, and clearly the next generation, they're ready to carry on the legacy of Sachin Tendulkar. That's all we have time for on the social network, but instead of me saying goodbye, I'm going to let Gaurav sing us out today.
Okay, this one's called Storm and Sachin, and here it goes. There was dust and drives, there was rain and runs, there was you and me, there is Storm and Sachin, blown through a heart. What's the score? We want an encore. What's the score? We want an encore. There's Storm and Sachin, blown through a heart, through our world, through a heart. What's the score? We want an encore.